We've all worked a 9 to 5 at one point, and we've all had the same thought. This is bullshit. I don't know how to explain it, but trading my time for money in such a direct, linear way feels like robbery. After all, time is the most valuable resource. If you asked a billionaire who was 70 years old if he would rather keep his riches or start a new life at 18 years old again, he would most likely choose the time. Thus, when you're young, you're a billionaire in terms of time. When you have spare time, you have something that the wealthiest among us couldn't even buy for all the money in the world. But that's another video. The point is, your time is valuable, and trading it for money on a sheerly linear scale gives the human mind dread. Not because the job itself is so dreadful, inasmuch as the fact that it's easy to do the math and realize that you'll need to do this 9 to 5 for the rest of your life in order to continue to make enough money to survive. In past generations, pensions made this easier to stomach. You were working every day so that one day you could still get paid even when you weren't working at all. At least you were still working towards something. Nowadays, however, Gen Z looks at a 9 to 5 and it feels like staring into the void. This is your life now, potentially for the rest of your days. There has to be more to life than this. Again, it's not necessarily that the job itself is bad. Oftentimes, office environments are somewhat nice, with activities, parties, events, etc. The haunting effect, though, comes from the realization that participating in these events isn't always optional. The chilling effect comes when you project your life 20 years in the future and the structure of life is still the same. You'll still only be making money for a squarely linear exchange of your time. This is why it's so difficult to stop making money online once you've gotten a taste of the effort to reward ratio. When I was on TikTok, I once made a review of a wireless iPhone microphone and it blew up with 4.5 million views. TikTok paid me both for the views and the commissions, and I ended up making $5,000 in a month from both of them. Every day, I would go to a coffee shop, do passion projects I loved working on, and check my TikTok commissions to see another $150 hit my bank account, and it happened every day like clockwork. Needless to say, this was one of the best, least stressful months of my life. The same month, I made a stupid video at a gas station where I put one of every beverage in my gas station cup, and upon waking up the next day, I saw 17 million views and $5,000 in my TikTok analytics to go with it. Needless to say, I can attribute my first $10,000 month solely to TikTok, and it only took me a total of 3 hours to make enough money for me to live off of it for 4 months. No, seriously, the gas station video was easy. I just recorded myself doing something absolutely ridiculous in public, and I hit post. It took me a total of about 20 minutes. On the other hand, to be fair, the microphone review did take some more skill. I knew how to grab the viewer's attention from 6 years of already making TikToks, and I knew how to edit the video as I went from 8 years of editing experience, which told me when to cut the video. On top of that, I'd been reviewing TikTok products on TikTok for 2 years at this point, so that definitely helped with creating a review of the product. And even then though, all of this together still only took me 2.5 hours. It's kind of like a plumber. They know how to do their craft quickly, which pays them a high amount per hour, but only because they've spent thousands of hours already learning how to do the job so quickly in the first place. And if you do the math, that means I made $3,333 per hour, which, come to think about it, is genuinely crazy. This is an hourly rate that's only matched by CEOs, world-class keynote speakers, and the biggest corporate lawyers in the world, and the occasional expert witness. And this is what made me realize one day, internet money has to be the best bang for your buck in terms of money divided by time. You see, I'm not after huge amounts of money alone. I'm after a vertex of 2 metrics, and they're very simple. The first one is effort divided by money, and the second one is money divided by time. See, when you get a big paycheck, but you almost broke your back, you're accruing wear in your body that you'll have to pay in hospital bills after you retire, and you hated every second of it, you don't really feel that happy about the paycheck. A more common response to that type of paycheck is just feeling okay. Like you were in a bad mood about it, but now you just kind of feel neutral. You're not happy about it, but it's just enough compensation to keep you from quitting for just another week. Personally, my dream isn't to make tons of money in as much as it is to make an average daily wage in far less time. Because if we are to assume that time truly is the most valuable resource, at the end of the day, the richest man is the one who lived a comfortable life the most, who spent the least time on his phone or the internet or social media or working, who spent the most time enjoying and cherishing the time they had to live and working on projects that they cared about. Now, I say comfortable life because taking this too far in the opposite direction is counterproductive in the opposite way. Yes, quitting your job and living on the street will allow you to use more of the time you have, but you'll probably have so many new obstacles to overcome that you don't have any time to enjoy your life anyways. In other words, you would still be working to live, but this time you wouldn't be getting paid for it. So what's the resolution? Well, to me, it's something in the middle. Nobody wants to be homeless, yet nobody sits on their deathbed wishing they had worked more. The ideal life is to make an average or higher salary, but working lightly to maintain it. For example, in my mind, if I could make $150 a day and only work 1 to 2 hours per day, and use my spare time to work on other streams of income and passion projects, I would probably be happier and more content with life than someone who made $200K a year but had to work 80 hours per week. And that's my point. Internet money gives a layman the opportunity to make the same amount of money per hour as a surgeon and yet keep the flexibility to choose the workload they want. Want to work 60 hours a week and crank out some bread? Go at it. Prefer to work 7 hours a week while making an above average American salary with 5 times less work hours required? The choice is yours. Now, some people will look at what I'm saying and tell me it's ridiculous, but it's not. Internet money, and specifically YouTube, is one of the only ways for a layman with no credentials or college degree to make the same hourly salary as a doctor, lawyer, or even CEO. And the reason why is a little term I will refer to as personality-based niching. In simple terms, a personality-based niche can be described as follows. Every corporation could find more than one person to fit the role of a job listing. There's practically no job listing on earth besides maybe a CEO that only one person could fit. However, on YouTube, it's different. You can't just easily find someone else to run your channel for you. It's practically never successfully done, and that's because your personality-based niche is something that usually only you can really fill. Let's take, for example, the King of Random, one of my favorite inventor channels growing up, and the owner of the channel, Grant, was a unique and special person. He had unbelievably creative ideas and followed his own unique process to make his YouTube videos. Unfortunately, a couple years ago, he passed away from a hang gliding accident, and no new channel host has been able to fill Grant's shoes, because it's pretty much impossible. There's simply no other person with the same flavor of personality, ideas, inventions, and creativity as him, which is why the channel has tanked in views ever since the new hosts started taking over. Thus, if you create a demand for your own personality-based niche, you become the sole supplier of your own unique entertainment product. And according to the economy of supply and demand, that makes you very valuable. This is why you can get paid so much per hour on YouTube, because in regular jobs, there are other applicants that could do the same job as you, but in a very specific personality-based niche that you've carved out on YouTube, only you can really do it. This is why automated channels usually do terribly on YouTube, because just like a normal job, every other person running an automated channel can make the same content. There is no edge or unique personality. In fact, these channels are even using the same AIs to write their videos, and the only differentiator for success is the creativity of the human idea initially given to the AI workflow to begin with. So long story short, do I make a lot of money on the internet right now? No, not in total. But if you break it down by hour, I still do. Take my most popular video with 450,000 views. It took me 20 minutes of actually talking to make that video, which is the only thing that's really similar to work. If I'd been monetized from the start of posting that video, it would have made $1,500 based on its current RPM. If you do the math per hour, that means that my work that day would have been equal to $4,500 per hour. And in my opinion, that is an ideal time to money ratio. Now, you might be saying, okay, well, that's just a unique special instance. That's not realistic. And I can agree with you, except there are, in fact, people that make over $4,500 per hour on YouTube, like I did that one time, every single day. Like Penguin Z0. Do the math and you'll start to realize that he makes a fortune per hour. In fact, more than most CEOs. And that is just in AdSense alone. Let's crunch some basic numbers. Just yesterday, in one day, he posted 4 videos. Every one was over 8 minutes, meaning a mid-roll style ad RPM, and about $5 per 1,000 views in his niche of entertainment/gaming. In the last day, over these 4 uploads, he's gotten over 6.6 million views. Now multiply this by 5 and we can see that in one day, he's pulled in $33,000 from AdSense alone. Considering he does his videos all in one take just from talking and his personality, and all of the videos of one day's runtime add up to only 1 hour, we can add on another hour for uploading these one-take videos, and we'll see that it was 2 hours of total work. Now, if we divide $33,000 by his 2 hours of work, we can see that just in AdSense alone, and not even streaming, he makes $16,500 per hour. This also doesn't include sponsorships. Project his daily rate and we can see that in AdSense alone, he makes around $990,000 per month from only YouTube AdSense, working 14 hours per week on these videos specifically. Now, before you tell me that that's gotta be impossible, I need to remind you of the scale of wealth. Jeff Bezos still makes $8 million per hour, and Charlie makes $16,500 per hour here. So yes, according to billionaire metrics, he still only makes peanuts. But now let's take it back down to regular Joe scale. $16,500 per hour is an unbelievable rate to make money, and Charlie does it all with just one singular muscle, his tongue. So now that we've established this, let me ask you, do you really think that when there are people making $16,500 an hour from YouTube AdSense alone, just for talking to a camera, that you can't possibly make a fraction of that? I never said you need to be as successful as Charlie, but who's to say that you can't be 0.5% as successful as him? And if you were just half of 1% as successful as him, you would still be making $83 per hour, which is the same rate as a physician's assistant. And if you offloaded the other hour of the 2 hours of editing to someone else, then you would be making $166 per hour, which is the same as a surgeon or a top-level underwater welder. And that's just if you were to be 0.5% as successful as he is. Even now, on my own YouTube channel with less than 10,000 subscribers and minuscule views, I still often break $70 per hour on YouTube videos where all that's required of me is speaking my mind and pressing upload. That being said, the main point of this video is don't underestimate the power of creating on YouTube or even making money on the internet in general, because it's one of the few platforms that allows you to make the same hourly wage as highest level lawyers, doctors, and career professionals without having the same credentials as they do.